We are on chapter 7, the story of Keesh. We have finished first and second part of the chapter. Today we shall discuss the last part of the chapter. Already I have taught in the live class. So just we will explain to you what is the last part of the story of Keesh. Okay. So, but it was the mystery of Keesh's marvelous hunting that took a chief place in all their minds. And one day, Ugluk taxed him with witchful craft to his face. So, what is the Ugluk? The chief council told him that the Keesh was doing all the marvelous work. He was hunting so many animals. So the Ugluk asked, how are you doing all this work? Are you doing any witchcraft to hunt all these polar bear? So what is the answer Keesh gave to them? Is it not meat good? Keesh made answer. How dost thou know that witchcraft be concerned, or dost thou guess in the dark? So what he told? How do you know? I am doing all these marvelous work with the witchcraft. Did you see with your own eye? He asked. Or do you guess? So what is the reply of Ugluk? Ugluk withdrew Discomfited means he felt little uneasy to hear from the little boy. Okay. So he withdrew from that particular place. It says like this. It was determined to put spies on his track. Track means on his way. So on the next trip, Bim and Bon, two young men and of hunters, the craftiest, followed after him, taking care not to be seen. So who followed Keesh? The other hunters who are skillful persons. Who are they? What are the names? Bim and Bon. They followed Keesh to find out how he is doing this great work. So they wanted to find out and inform the chief counselors. Okay. So followed after him, taking care not to be seen. So they went behind him. After 5 days, they returned, their eyes bulging and their tongues a tremble. The council has hastily called in Koshkwan's dwelling, and Bim took up the tale. So they reached back. When Bim and Bon reached back, who called the meeting? Koshkwan, the chief, called the meeting in his own house, his own dwelling. And Bim took up the tale, the story. Bim started to say the story, what happened while they went behind Keesh to see how he is hunting the polar bear. So, brothers, we journeyed on a trail of Keesh, and midway of the first day he picked up with a great he-bear. Yet was the bear not inclined to fight Keesh. Very much unafraid, shouted harsh words after the bear and waved his arms about. Then did the bear grow angry and rise up on his hind legs and growl. But Keesh walked right up to the bear, and the bear took after him, and Keesh ran away. But as he dropped the little round balls on the ice, and the bear stopped and smelled them and then swallowed them. So what happened? How Bim is telling the story to the council members? They told, brothers, Bim said, we followed Keesh and he did not see us. We were following Keesh and he did not see us. The first day he came to a great bear. The first day itself he came to a great bear. Keesh shouted at the bear loudly. The bear saw him and became angry. Who shouted first? Keesh shouted first. The bear was very calm and quiet, but Keesh shouted at the bear loudly. And after that, the bear saw him and became very angry. It rose high on its legs and growled. But Keesh walked up to it. We saw it born. The other hunter said. The bear began to run towards Keesh. Keesh ran away. So the bear was getting a bit angry and he ran behind Keesh to attack him. But as he ran, he dropped a little round ball on the ice. So what did Keesh do while he was running? Keesh dropped a little round ball on the ice. The bear stopped and smelled the ball, then ate it. So he stopped and smelled the ball and ate it. Keesh continued to run, dropping more balls on the ice. The bear followed and ate the balls. So continuously the Keesh was dropping the ball on the ice and the bear was eating them up. Okay, then what happened? With our own eyes we saw it, bone affirmed, and this continued until the bear stood suddenly upright and cried aloud in pain, and thrashed his four paws madly about. So finally what happened? The bear was a bit tired and he was something uneasiness it was feeling. So the bear stood suddenly upright and started to cry in pain. And witchcraft Uglak suggested. So what? While the Uglak was listening to this, what he said? Yes, it is witchcraft. It is an evil spirit. I know not, Bone replied. And after a while, the bear grew weak and tired, and he went off along the ice, sitting down ever and again to squeal and cry. And Keesh followed after the bear, and for that 3 days more we followed Keesh. But this is the time the bear was quite sick and could crawl no further. So Keesh came up close and speared him to death. So thereafter, while the bear was swallowing what the Keesh was throwing, after that swallowing that round thing, it became very tired and it was feeling, the polar bear was feeling very sickly, and 3 days it followed, and also Keesh also was following the particular bear. And finally what happened? But this time the bear was very sick. Now this time he would not growl or make any noise. It was very tired and very sick. And he killed the Keesh finally killed the polar bear. And then Koshkwan demanded. Then we left Keesh skinning the bear and came out. So after we saw the polar bear was very sick and we saw with our own eyes Keesh killing the bear, and we came out from that particular place. So he explained all the story what had happened. And in the afternoon of that day, when Keesh arrived, a message was sent him bidding him to come to the council. But he sent reply saying that he was hungry and tired. Also that his igloo was large and comfortable and could hold many men. So when the Keesh came back from the hunting, the message came from the council of members to come to their place. He told that I am very tired and my igloo also is as big as yours. So it would be better you to come to my igloo. And curiosity was so strong on the men that the whole council rose up and went to the igloo of Keesh. He was eating, but he received them with respect. The curiosity to know about behind the killing of polar bear, it was too much, and the council of members, the chief They all got up and came to the igloo of whom? Keesh. They came to the house of Keesh, and though he was eating, he welcomed them with respect. Okay. Kloshkwan recited the information brought by Bim and Bon, and at its close said, so explanation is wanted. O Keesh, of thy manner of hunting, is there witchcraft in it? So who told? The Kloshkwan, the chief, told that I wanted to have an explanation about the hunting of polar bear. Please give us the explanation how you kill the bear so easily. Is there any witchcraft in it? Is there any evil spirit in it? So what Keesh told? Keesh looked up and smiled. Nay, O Kloshkwan, it be headcraft, not witchcraft. What he told? Keesh told that it is not a witchcraft. It is the headcraft. Headcraft means it is I kill them with the intellect. Okay, with my knowledge. He picked up a thin strip. Strip means a piece of whole or whalebone and showed it to them. The ends were sharp as a needle points. The strip coiled carefully till it disappeared in his hand. Then suddenly releasing it, it sprang straight again. He picked up a piece of bubbler. So he said, one takes a small chunk of bubbler and thus makes it hollow. Then into a hollow goes to the whalebone so tightly. And the another piece of bubbler is fitted over the whalebone. After that, it is put out where it freezes into the little round ball. The bear swallows the little round ball. The bubbler melts and the whalebone with its sharp ends stands straight. So who is explaining? The Keesh is explaining how he is killing the polar bear. Okay. So what he says? The Keesh picked up a thin piece of whalebone. Keesh took a thick piece of whalebone. The ends were pointed and sharp as a knife. The whalebone's end were pointed as sharp as a knife. Keesh bent the bone into the circle. He bent the bone into the circle. Suddenly he let the bone go and it became straight with a sharp snap. He picked up a piece of seal meat. So he said, first make a circle with a sharp, thin piece of the whalebone. Put the circle of the bone inside some seal meat. Put it in the snow or to freeze. The bear eat the ball of meat with a circle of bone inside. When the meat gets inside the bear, the meat gets warm and the bone goes snap. The sharp points make the bear sick. It is easy to kill them. It is very simple. So what he told all the explanation how he is killing the polar bear. And Ugluk said, oh, and Kloshkwan and said, oh, and each said something and all understood. Oh, that is the way you kill the polar bear. And this is the story of Keesh who lived long ago on the rim of the polar sea because he exercised headcraft and not witchcraft. He rose from the meanest igloo to be the headman of his village. And through all years that he lived, and it is related, his tribe was prosperous. And either widow nor weak one cried aloud in the night because there was no meat. So, that is the story of Keesh. Finally, the last paragraph it says, that is the story of Keesh who lived long ago on the edge of the polar sea. Because he used headcraft, because he used the intellectual power and the knowledge instead of the witchcraft, He rose from the poorest igloo to be the chief in the village. So finally he became the chief in the village. And for all the years that followed, his people were happy. No one cried at night with pains or hunger. That is the end of the story. Okay. So I hope you have understood the story and you will be reading the lesson again and understanding what it is. It's a very simple lesson. Okay. And I hope you understood how the Keesh killed the bear, which method he used. Okay. The Keesh headcraft was to use his brain. He chose a strip of whale bone. He used a whale bone and with a sharp pence and placed it inside a bulber to freeze and it into the round ball. So he used a whale bone to kill the polar bear. Okay, that is the main thing you should remember. As the bear swallowed it, the whale bone stood out, causing pain. Then the bear was killed with a spear. Okay, that is the way the Keesh killed the polar bear. Okay, so thank you students for listening.